everybody, it's Jen. This video ended up being really long, so I decided to just speed it up, and I was gonna set music to it, but I kind of wanted to explain some things, so I don't know. If you'd rather hear music than me talking, you can, mute and listen to music. Anyhow, I'm making a summer soap called Island Vibes. It's a seasonal soap, just for the summer. I did it last year, and it sold out like lightning. I just did a smaller batch and it was gone so fast. People were like, "Where did it go?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, it's gone." So this year I'm making a big batch. So the plan was to split this into four colors: blue, green, orange, and yellow. But I'm still not used to doing these big batches in the slab mold. My husband just recently made me that big slab mold that I have, so I discovered right here that my containers were not big enough to equally split this batter into four parts. So I'm contemplating and figuring that I just have no choice but to add a fifth color. So I decided to do pink. So I went and grabbed that, and now I am going to add in the colors. That is ultramarine blue oxide mixed in a little Dixie cup in some olive oil. And then I'm going to do green with chlorella powder. I prefer to use natural colorants as much as possible. That's a natto seed infused in olive oil. And I let that infusion sit for a long time and then just use it as I need. I just make a small amount so that the olive oil doesn't go bad, obviously. But I don't worry about subtracting the oil amount from my recipe or anything. With such a large batch like this, it's such a minuscule amount more of oil. It's just adding to the super fat a little bit. And then off camera, what you didn't see was I added some safflower powder to make yellow. And in the pot here, I am adding Australian red reef clay to get like a pink sort of color. So I have to get used to doing larger batches too, and my camera set up for videos. That's another thing I'm not used to. I'm much more spread out with these bigger batches, and the angle I have my camera and the box I set it on and the tripod is just not getting it all. So anyway, I'm blending in the colorants. So that's the safflower, which I know it looks really peach right now, but by the time it's cut, it will look really yellow. And the second one, the orange, that was the annatto, and now it's the chlorella. The other colorant that's natural that I use to get green is spirulina. And they both kind of end up the same. I think spirulina tends to fade a little bit more than chlorella, and it's just a slightly different green. I think the chlorella is a little brighter. Blue is really difficult to get naturally, just really hard. So I use ultramarine blue. So I try to use natural colorants as much as possible. Not really necessarily the skin, because it's going on your skin. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with micas and, oxides and that sort of thing. I'm fine with using them on my own skin and my kids, but I just try to keep my soaps kind of like rustic, looking and feeling. So I just prefer the natural colorants. Okay, so now in is going the scent blend. And I always stick blend in as I make a huge mess. What else is new? I always stick blend in my fragrance because I just feel like, I don't know, it just makes me feel better to know that I stick blended in versus just hand mixing it. I guess sometimes if I have a fragrance oil that doesn't play well and gets thick, I will just mix it in with a spatula, but I just usually try to avoid those fragrance oils altogether, which is why I love my essential oils. They don't mess with you like that. But I know that the fragrance that's in this blend is fine. So, the scent, I didn't even tell you. This is a blend of, it smells just like last year if you're a customer of mine watching this and you got Island Vibes last year. It smells basically exactly the same. I tweaked it a little bit, but I'll explain that in a few minutes as I'm doing the cutting. Okay, fun part. Into the mold. So, like I said, my original plan was four colors, just in layers. That's what I did last year. They weren't perfectly straight layers. I wasn't waiting for the first one to set up or any kind of crazy list like that. I don't have that kind of patience, and I think that soap makers who do are awesome. Um, so, but I did still kind of want layers versus a swirl. So I did last year. It looked really cool, and it reminded you of like tropics, like you know, goes with it, island vibes. So I get my red in. Now remember, this was in the pot. This was like the leftover batter that wouldn't fit in my 4 cups, split off equally. So I get that in, and I'm like, okay, good. So now I'm going to go put in the orange. And I'm going to discover issue number 2 that I'm not used to because of working with a slab mold. Um, Having one of these, I like to just kind of recycle and reuse when possible, you know? Save the planet and all that. Um, so these containers are just like from yogurt. And that's what I've kind of always used to split off for colors instead of having to buy more plastic containers. But anyway, I'm discovering right about now that these yogurt containers full to the brim are still, when you're split, well, yeah, full to the brim is not enough soap to make a whole layer in this slab mold. Like I said, this is the most ambitious I've gotten with this slab mold yet. I've just done soaps that I've done a million times before that were just a swirl with 1 or 2 or 3 colors or whatever. So this is my first time trying something this crazy. So I had no idea how it was going to go. So at this point, I'm deciding, okay, well, I'm not going to get the layers like I planned. I'm going to have to swirl it. But I think I'll still put it in layers versus just throwing it in as a drop swirl and then swirling it. I figured I'd still at least attempt to get some sort of a layered look effect and then swirl afterwards. So here is the final color. And then now I'm going to get a skewer. That's how you say it? Skewer. And I'm just swirling like a mad woman in all kinds of different directions and just crazy patterns just to try and get those weird bloppy layers in some semblance of a pretty looking swirl. And at this point, I'm just crossing my fingers. I have no idea what it's going to end up looking like. So for the top, I knew that I wanted to go with like this splattered effect versus texturing or peaking. So that's what I'm going to do now. And the red is all gone. I put the entire amount of red down in the base. Since that wasn't part of the original color scheme plan, I didn't really want it on top because I didn't want this to look like a rainbow soap. I don't know. It's just not what I was going for. So I put all the red in the bottom. So now I'm just splattering the remaining 4 colors across the top. And this technique is really cool. I never wanted to do it because when you put it on, you look at the mold and you're like, that looks weird. I don't like it. It needs to be textured or swirled or something. But if you could just stop yourself and leave it splattered, it looks so cool once you cut the batch into individual bars. So it may look weird now, but on the bars, this technique with the splattering looks so cool. So I'm just finishing that up, cleaning up the edges. La-di-da, and now you're seeing why I sped up this video and I'm doing this weird narration because this took really long and I figured nobody wanted to watch a 45-minute video. Okay, so there it is done. And now here is the next day, a little bit less than 24 hours cutting. I already split the slab into logs off camera, and there you have it. I split it into logs off camera because I still haven't figured out. I have to use the bud cutter log splitter on my kitchen table because you have to push against it. It butts up against the side and then my cart goes rolling. Anyway, I haven't figured out a good camera setup for filming myself splitting it into logs yet. So anyway, here I'm cutting the logs into bars, and I was very pleasantly surprised when I cut into this. When I split off the first log from the slab, I think I said, oh, because yeah, it came out really cool, and I probably could not do this again if I tried. And I think this is probably the prettiest soap I ever did because I usually just do more rustic, natural looking I don't usually go for this kind of look with all these colors and all this design, but um, for seasonal stuff, sometimes it's nice to go a little over the top and have a little bit more of a play and make things more fun. So that's kind of how I figure, seasonal, go a little over the top. And I had a lot of fun making this. I'm really happy with how it turned out. Oh, and the scent. It smells kind of like a fruit smoothie. It's got like strawberries and mango and those kinds of tropical fruits like you would have in a tropical fruit smoothie. That is what makes up the fragrance component. And then there are 4 different citrus essential oils. This is just, I cut my end piece into samples. There are 4 different citrus essential oils in here, and then just the littlest bit of sweet basil essential oil to give it an island green kind of background. And there you have it, the 2015 version of Island Vibes. Thank you for watching. Bye.